Hello and welcome back to Alyena's Kitchen, where today we are making one of my all-time favorite scones. We are making chocolate chip cream cheese scones. They are so delicious and decadent. So let's get started. To start our scone, we're just going to want to mix together all of our dry ingredients. I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that I'm going to be adding in a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, along with 2½ teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And we're just going to want to mix this all together so that it's all combined before we can add in our cold butter. Now let's butter it up. We're using a lot of butter. We have actually a 3/4 cup of cold butter, and I like to chop it up like so before I add it in. You're going to want to use a pastry cutter to cut in your butter, or if you don't have a pastry cutter, you can use a fork or even your hands. That one's up to you. You'll know your butter is cut in enough when it has the texture of almost coarse sand and it's nice and crumbly. Next, we are going to add in some cold cream cheese, and I have 4 ounces of cream cheese that's going in, and you're going to grab your pastry cutter again and cut in your cream cheese. Now that we've cut in our butter and our cream cheese, it's now time to add my favorite ingredient, our chocolate chips. And we are using 1 cup of chocolate chips. Wow, and it's so hot outside, some of our chocolate chips are starting to melt, so I'm going to move rather quickly. Now we can just mix our chocolate chips into our dry ingredients until everything is combined before we start to add in our wet ingredients. Whenever I make scones, I always make sure to put a well, my well kind of disappeared just now, in the center of my bowl, and that's where I'll add in my wet ingredients. And I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, along with 1¼ cups of milk, but I'm going to start with just adding 1 cup and then drizzle in the remaining milk to see how much I really need, because you don't want too wet of a dough. All right. That seems like enough for now, and we can stir our dough all together. I ended up only using about 1 cup of my milk, but in past times I've needed that extra 1/4 cup, so it just depends on the day, I guess. Now I've just floured my work surface. You're going to want to roll your dough out into a circle. Our dough is now shaped like a circle, and I can cut out my scones. And I like to cut out my scones kind of like how you cut out a pizza. And I do have to say, because I'm baking these on such a hot day, they are a little bit stickier than I would normally like them to be. That's why when you make scones, I recommend doing them inside in a cool environment, because you really want to keep your butter and your cream cheese as cold as possible. Now I'm going to go pop my scones in the oven at a temperature of 425 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes, or until they're nice and golden. While our scones are in the oven baking, we can get started on our glaze. I have 2 ounces of room temperature cream cheese, and to that I'm going to be adding in 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, along with 1½ teaspoons of vanilla extract. And now you're going to want to beat this together until it's really nice and smooth. Next, I'm going to add in some heavy cream or milk. This one is up to you. I'm using heavy cream because I don't like my glaze to be super thick. So I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon at a time, beat it all together until I reach my desired consistency. I'm now on my 3rd tablespoon of heavy cream, but if you like a thicker glaze, you can stop right here. I just want it to be a little bit thinner. And for me, this is the perfect consistency. Look at that. Now that our scones are completely chilled and room temperature, we can glaze them. And look at these scones. Don't they look absolutely delicious? But now the best part is actually getting to taste them. Wow. That's so good. This is the best chocolate chip scone I think I've ever had, because they're so light, they're really nice and moist, and that icing, that glaze, takes it to another level. So please let me know if you try this scone and what you think in the comments down below. Also, if you love scones as much as I do, I have a lot of scone recipes, and they should be right here or over here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you next weekend. Adios. And don't forget to pop in next Sunday because we are making the most delicious tropical smoothie.